Holy crap! I'm a millionaire! If you had told me 15 years ago your old buddy Josh would be a millionaire, I thought you're crazy. And I don't have $1 million in my portfolio. I'm just saying when you factor in your overall net worth. I'm a millionaire. I can't believe it. Actually, I'm more than a millionaire. And the bulk of my net worth is in my house. By far and away. But that's not making a millionaire. Yeah, it does. You ever know how they tax your estate? If you're not a millionaire because your house isn't included in that, then you don't know how the estate tax works, man. Because your estate tax is all the assets you own minus your liabilities. That is what is subject to your estate for estate tax. In this case, we still have an estate tax. It's just my estate tax exemption is well above what my taxable estate is. All right, but your estate is your overall asset. Let's just have $1 million house. We'll say $200,000 of a mortgage. That's $800,000 net worth, and then you got $400,000 in an IRA. Your net worth is $1.2 million. You, my friends, are a millionaire. Even if 66% of your net worth is tied up in your home, you are a millionaire. Just fact. In your estate, if you lived, well, it used to be Massachusetts, you'd have a taxable estate in that regard. I don't think any other, I don't even think Oregon does. I don't think any other states has a taxable estate of $1 million to subject yourself to an estate tax. Massachusetts used to until a couple years ago. Now it's at $2 million. So just think about this. You live in Massachusetts. You bought your house in 1977, in South Boston. And now South Boston is all where the cool kids live, all the tattooed hipsters, you know what I'm saying? And so your $150,000 house you bought in South Boston, Charlestown, whatever it's called, is now worth $2 million. All right, let's just use that for an example. And you got $200,000 in an IRA. You now have an estate tax in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And that, my friend, is a fact, Jack. But you don't have $1 million. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts assumes you have a $2.2 million taxable estate. Now you get about $2 million estate tax exemption, but you're still gonna have a taxable estate of $200,000, even though the bulk is in your real estate. Doesn't matter. All these idiots out there, oh, you're not a millionaire unless you have a liquid portfolio. They just don't know what they're talking about. They simply don't. In fact, remember, it's $675,000 when George W. Bush was president. His $675 was the estate tax exemption. So if you had a estate over $675, you had a taxable estate. If you had $1 million house and not another freaking penny, you had an estate tax due on, what was that, $325. It's just a fact. Just a fact. In fact, it's even worse than that, because how does an estate tax get paid if everything is tied up in real estate? And this is an issue. This is why we used to do these life insurance, because life in ILITs and irrevocable life insurance trusts and whatnot. Just basic life insurance, even. Life insurance, if you own it, is in your estate, by the way, just FYI. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Life insurance, if you own it, is in your estate. Just a fact. Anyway, so what we'd do is we'd say we got to develop some liquidity, and that way, if your heirs have to liquidate stuff to pay for the estate tax, we don't want them to have to liquidate a real asset that's not very liquid, and it can be sold basically at a fire sale, because people know you're trying to sell it because you're the heir, and the reason you're trying to sell it is to liquidate it so you can pay estate tax, and they're going to lowball you on the offer to buy your home. Like, this used to happen all the time. But if you have some liquid assets, estate, life insurance or something like that, then you wouldn't have to sell it at a fire sale. You can say, no, we don't have, because a lot of times the estate tax is due, 60 days, something like that, 90 days after the date of death. So you got to get that money going so you can pay your stupid governor, or stupid Obama or George W. Bush. Why are people on this road so slow? It's a weird. Okay, at least that guy's going left. Every time I get on this road, people just go slow. Slowpoke Rodriguez, slowest mouse in Mexico, the cousin of Speedy Gonzalez. Slowpoke Rodriguez. You gotta be careful of that guy. All right, so put in the show notes after you fall into the like button. Why do you have to be careful around Slowpoke Rodriguez? Anybody know? There's a reason you got to be careful around that guy. And if you guys are cool, you'll know what the reason is. You got to be careful around Slowpoke Rodriguez, the slowest mouse in Mexico. And he crushes, by the way. Mel Blanc What a freaking legend. That guy, he did all the voices. Isn't that crazy? Mel Blanc, whatever. Anyway, so your old buddy Josh, with my real estate and my retirement account, with my total portfolio, I'm a millionaire. Literally 15 years ago in 2008, I did not have a pot to pee in. 2 brand spanking new bouncing babies, all right? A girl who is 8 years old, a girl who is 5 years old, 2 Irish twin bouncing baby boys. Dude, it was markets falling, income's falling, stressful time, dude. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. And you fast forward 15 years, and I'm a millionaire. And I got more than $1 million in net worth. 100%. I do. It's crazy. If you look at me back when I was growing up in Peaks Island, Maine, worry about the freaking, with my orange and purple money that my mom would give to me to go to the store to buy stuff. I don't think we could buy cigarettes with food stamps, but if memory serves, I'd buy some with food stamps and get cash back and wish to buy cigarettes for her. I can't remember. But you could buy a cheap product with a $10 food stamp, and they get pissed, but sometimes they give you cash back or a $5 food stamp, and you could use that cash to buy cigarettes. Anyway, and then come back home from school with no worry about it. No heat would be in the house because my mom couldn't afford the oil bill or whatever, and have to use the electricity off the range to try to heat the house if she paid the electric bill. You can't get your school clothes dirty because you only had like 2 pairs of school clothes, for the whole year. And see, this back in the day when you have to have school clothes and play clothes. You did not play in your school clothes because your school clothes, you're still trying to look respectable. Nowadays, everyone wants to look like they're poor. I'm going to wear my pajamas to school. Back in the day, poor people did not want to look poor, so they try to keep their school clothes nice and clean, and they'd play in their run-down clothes that I get from my cousin Dale in California that he's sending me. And I'd love to get a package from him because his parents, I thought, were rich. They lived in California, you know what I'm saying? And every time Dale would send me something, it was like Christmas. He sent me this Los Angeles Rams helmet, like the plastic helmet with a Los Angeles Rams shirt. Oh, dude, I freaking loved wearing that thing. He sent me like a 1977 for my 7th birthday Topps baseball card, the whole set. Dude, that was literally like the best present I ever got. All right, anyway, there you go. Your old buddy Josh, a millionaire. So now you can take advice from me because they say, if you're a financial advisor who's a millionaire, you shouldn't listen to him. Well, I just told you I am, so you can listen to me for financial advice. All right, love your thoughts. God bless.